The Inland Taipan, also commonly known as the Western Taipan, small-scaled snake or fierce snake. It is a species of extremely venomous snake in the family Elapidae. The species is endemic to semi-arid regions of Central East Australia. Aboriginal Australians living in those regions named it Dandrabilla. The Inland Taipan is dark tan, ranging from a rich, dark hue to a brownish light green depending on the season. Its back, sides, and tail may be different shades of brown and gray, with many scales having a wide, blackish edge. These dark marked scales occur in diagonal rows so that the marks align to form broken chevrons of variable length that are inclined backward and downward. The lowermost lateral scales often have an anterior yellow edge. The dorsal scales are smooth and without keels. What's next? What is the next deadliest snake? The Black Mamba is a long, slender, cylindrical snake. It has a coffin-shaped head with a somewhat pronounced brow ridge and a medium-sized eyes. The adult snake's length typically ranges from 2 to 3 meters, but specimens have grown to lengths of 4.3 to 4.5 meters. It is the longest species of venomous snake in Africa and the second longest venomous snake species overall, exceeded in length only by the king cobra. The Black Mamba is a proteroglyphous snake with fangs up to 6.5 millimeters in length, located at the front of the maxilla. The tail of the species is long and thin, the caudal vertebrae making up 17 to 25% of its body length. The body mass of black mambas has been reported to be about 1.6 kilograms, although a study of 7 black mambas found an average weight of 1.03 kilograms, ranging from 520 grams for a specimen of 1.01 meters total length to 2.4 kilograms for a specimen of 2.57 meters total length. Specimens vary considerably in color, including olive, yellowish-brown, khaki, and gunmetal, but are rarely black. The scales of some individuals may have a purplish sheen. Individuals occasionally display dark mottling towards the posterior, which may appear in the form of diagonal crossbands. Black mambas have grayish-white underbellies. The common name is derived from the appearance of the inside of the mouth, dark bluish-gray to nearly black. Mamba eyes range between grayish-brown and shades of black. The pupil is surrounded by a silvery white or yellow color. Juvenile snakes are lighter in color than adults. These are typically gray or olive green and darken as they age. What's next? The next is a small, venomous snake characterized by its keeled scales with serrated edges, which create a sawing sound when rubbed together. These vipers are typically brown, gray, or reddish with dark, irregular patterns and have a stout body, a pear-shaped head distinct from the neck, and a short, thin tail. They are known for their aggressive nature and the extreme toxicity of their venom, which can cause significant tissue damage and hemorrhaging. It is called echis, or the common name is saw-scaled viper or carpet viper. Saw-scaled vipers is a genus of vipers found in the dry regions of Africa, the Middle East, India, Sri Lanka, and Pakistan. They have a characteristic threat display, rubbing sections of their body together to produce a sizzling warning sound. The name echis is the Latin transliteration of the Greek word for viper. Like all vipers, they are venomous. Their common name is saw-scaled vipers, and they include some of the species responsible for causing the most snakebite cases and deaths in the world. 12 species are currently recognized. Saw-scaled vipers are relatively small snakes, the largest species usually below 90 centimeters long and the smallest being around 30 centimeters. The head is relatively small and is short, wide, pear-shaped, and distinct from the neck. The snout is short and rounded, while the eyes are relatively large and the body is moderately slender and cylindrical. The dorsal scales are mostly keeled. However, the scales on the lower flanks stick out at a distinct 45 angle and have a central ridge or keel that is serrated. The tail is short and the subcaudals are single. All members of this genus have a distinctive threat display, which involves forming a series of parallel, C-shaped coils and rubbing their scales together to produce a sizzling sound, rather like water on a hot plate. The proper term for this is stridulation. As they become more agitated, this stridulating behavior becomes faster and louder. This display is thought to have evolved as a means of limiting water loss, such as might occur when hissing. However, some authors describe this display as being accompanied by loud hissing. These snakes can be fierce and are quick to strike. They will strike from the position described above. When doing so, they may overbalance and end up moving towards their aggressor. Saw-scaled vipers are highly defensive compared to many of their cousins, and they are very easy to provoke, so they might strike quickly. How do you feel about this deadliest snake? Do you want to feed it as your pet? Okay, let's go to the next. The next is, I hope you know it. The Indian cobra is a moderately sized, heavy-bodied species. This cobra species can easily be identified by its relatively large hood, which it expands when threatened. Many specimens exhibit a hood mark. This hood mark is located at the rear of the Indian cobra's hood. When the hood mark is present, it consists of two circular ocelli patterns connected by a curved line, evoking the image of spectacles. This species has a head that is elliptical, depressed, and very slightly distinct from the neck. The snout is short and rounded with large nostrils. The eyes are medium in size and the pupils are round. The majority of adult specimens range from 1 to 1.5 meters in length. Some specimens, particularly those from Sri Lanka, may grow to lengths of 2.1 to 2.2 meters, but this is relatively uncommon. The Indian cobra varies tremendously in color and pattern throughout its range. The ventral scales or the underside coloration of this species can be gray, yellow, tan, brown, reddish, or black. Dorsal scales of the Indian cobra may have a hood mark or color patterns. The most common visible pattern is a posteriorly convex light band at the level of the 20th to 25th ventrals. Sultan pepper speckles, especially in adult specimens, are seen on the dorsal scales. Specimens, particularly those found in Sri Lanka, may exhibit poorly defined banding on the dorsum. Ontogenetic color change is frequently observed in specimens in the northwestern parts of their geographic range, southern Pakistan and northwestern India. In southern Pakistan, juvenile specimens may be gray in color and may or may not have a hood mark. Adults, on the other hand, are typically uniformly black in color on top, melanistic, while the underside, outside the throat region, is usually light. Patterns on the throat and ventral scales are also variable in this species. The majority of specimens exhibit a light throat area followed by dark banding, which can be 4 to 7 ventral scales wide. Adult specimens also often exhibit a significant amount of mottling on the throat and on the venter, which makes patterns on this species less clear relative to patterns seen in other species of cobra. With the exception of specimens from the northwest, there is often a pair of lateral spots on the throat where the ventral and dorsal scales meet. The positioning of these spots varies, with northwestern specimens having the spots positioned more anterior, while specimens from elsewhere in their range are more posterior. Indian cobras were often a heraldic element in the official symbols of certain princely states of India such as Gwalior, Kolhapur, Palahara, Gondal, Karagar, and Kalahandi, among others. Found in Australia, this snake is known for its speed and aggressive nature, and its venom can cause coagulopathy and bleeding. This snake is called the eastern brown snake. The eastern brown snake is of slender to average build with no demarcation between its head and neck. Its snout appears rounded when viewed from above. Most specimens have a total length up to 1.5 meters, with some large individuals reaching to meters. The maximum recorded total length for the species is 2.4 meters. Evidence indicates that snakes from the northern populations tend to be larger than those from southern populations. The adult eastern brown snake is variable in color. Its upper parts range from pale to dark brown or sometimes shades of orange or russet, with the pigment more richly colored in the posterior part of the dorsal scales. Eastern brown snakes from Monarch have tan to olive upper parts, while those from eastern Papua New Guinea are very dark gray-brown to blackish. The eastern brown snake's fangs are small compared to those of other Australian venomous snakes, averaging 2.8 mm (0.11 in length or up to 4 mm in larger specimens, and are 11 mm apart. The tongue is dark, the iris is blackish with a paler yellow-brown or orange ring around the pupil. The snake's chin and underparts are cream or pale yellow, sometimes fading to brown or gray-brown towards the tail. Often, orange, brown, or dark gray blotches occur on the underparts, more prominent anteriorly. The ventral scales are often edged with dark brown on their posterior edges. Juveniles can vary in markings, but generally have a black head with a lighter brown snout and band behind and a black nuptial band. Their bodies can be uniform brown or have many black bands or a reticulated pattern with all darker markings fading with age. Snake clutches in colder areas tend to have a higher proportion of young snakes with banded markings on their bodies. Its yellowish underparts serve to distinguish it from the Dudget and Peninsula brown snake, which are entirely brown or brown with gray underparts. The eastern brown snake has flesh-pink skin inside its mouth, whereas the northern brown snake and western brown snake have black skin. Large eastern brown snakes are often confused with mulga snakes, whose habitat they share in many areas but may be distinguished by their smaller heads. Juvenile eastern brown snakes have head markings similar to red-naped snakes, gray snakes, Dwyer snakes, and the curl snake. The eastern brown snake is considered the second most venomous terrestrial snake in the world, behind only the Inland Taipan of Central East Australia, responsible for more deaths from snakebite in Australia than any other species. It is the most commonly encountered dangerous snake in Adelaide and is also found in Melbourne, Canberra, Sydney, and Brisbane. As a genus, brown snakes were responsible for 41% of identified snakebite victims in Australia between 2005 and 2015, and for 15 of the 19 deaths during this period. Within the genus, the eastern brown snake is the species most commonly implicated. It is classified as a snake of medical importance by the World Health Organization. This Australian snake's venom can cause severe bleeding and neurological problems. This type of snake is coming with its name is tiger snake. Notechis is a genus of large venomous snakes in the family Elapidae restricted to subtropical and temperate regions of Australia. Tiger snakes are a large group of distinct populations which may be isolated or overlapping with extreme variance in size and color. Individuals also show seasonal variation in color. The total length is typically about 1.2 meters. The patterning is darker bands, strongly contrasting or indistinct, which are pale to very dark in color. Coloration is olive, yellow, orange-brown, or jet black, and the underside of the snake is light yellow or orange. Tiger snakes use venom to kill prey and may also bite an aggressor. They are potentially fatal to humans. Tolerant of low temperatures, the snake may be active on warmer nights. When threatened, they flatten their bodies and raise their heads above the ground in a classic press-strike stance. Tiger snakes accounted for 17% of identified snakebite victims in Australia between 2005 and 2015, with 4 deaths recorded from 119 confirmed envenomations. Tiger snake venoms possess potent neurotoxins, coagulants, hemolycins, and myotoxins. Symptoms of a bite include localized pain in the foot and neck region, tingling, numbness, and sweating, followed by a fairly rapid onset of breathing difficulties and paralysis. In a study, the mortality rate from untreated bites is reported to be between 40% and 60%. Treatment is the same for all Australian venomous snakes. The pressure immobilization method is used to inhibit the flow of venom through the lymphatic system. Broad, thick bandages are applied over the bite, then down and back along the limb to the armpit or groin. The affected limb is then immobilized with a splint. Identification of the venom is possible if traces are left near the wound. Identifying the snake is not necessary if bitten in Tasmania because the same antivenom is used to treat old Tasmanian snake bites. The availability of antivenom has greatly reduced the incidence of fatal tiger snake bites. Among the number of deaths caused by snake bite in Australia, those from tiger snakes are exceeded only by the brown snake. The venom yield is 35 to 65 milligrams, while the lethal dose for humans is 3 milligrams. Tiger snakes are stout-bodied snakes with a broad, flattened head, often displaying dark brown and yellow-brown bands. They average around 1 meter in length, but some can reach 1.5 meters. These snakes are known for their venomous bite, which can cause paralysis and affect blood clotting. The common tiger snake has a flat, blunt head slightly distinct from a robust body. Its body is capable of being flattened along its entire length when the snake is agitated or basking. Its average length is 0.9 meters, with a maximum length of 1.2 meters, but has been recorded at 2 meters. Highly variable in color, its base colors are brown, gray-olive, or green with lighter cross bands, usually of creamy yellow. Occasionally, banded specimens are found. Scales appear like overlapping shields, especially around the neck. Ventral scales number 140 to 190, subcaudals 35 to 65, midbody in 17 or 19 rows, and the anal scale is single. Tiger snakes are usually found in coastal regions where they favor wetlands, creeks, dams, and other habitat around watercourses or at shelter near permanent sources of water in pastoral areas. Habitat providing an abundance of prey can support large populations. The species distribution extends from the south of Western Australia through to South Australia, Tasmania up through Victoria, and New South Wales. Its common habitat includes the coastal areas of Australia. Tiger snakes accounted for 17% of identified snakebite victims in Australia between 2005 and 2015, with 4 deaths recorded from 119 confirmed envenomations. Tiger snake venoms possess potent neurotoxins, coagulants, hemolycins, and myotoxins. Symptoms of a bite include localized pain in the foot and neck region, tingling, numbness, and sweating, followed by a fairly rapid onset of breathing difficulties and paralysis. In a study, the mortality rate from untreated bites is reported to be between 40% and 60%. Treatment is the same for all Australian venomous snakes. The pressure immobilization method is used to inhibit the flow of venom through the lymphatic system. Broad, thick bandages are applied over the bite, then down and back along the limb to the armpit or groin. The affected limb is then immobilized with a splint. Identification of the venom is possible if traces are left near the wound. Identifying the snake is not necessary if bitten in Tasmania because the same antivenom is used to treat old Tasmanian snake bites. The availability of antivenom has greatly reduced the incidence of fatal tiger snake bites. Among the number of deaths caused by snake bite in Australia, those from tiger snakes are exceeded only by the brown snake. The venom yield is 35 to 65 milligrams, while the lethal dose for humans is 3 milligrams. After seeing a few fierce snakes, now we are going to see more and more fierce different type snakes. The rest of the types of snake will be in the next part, so stay tuned and please subscribe and follow our channel for more video. Thank you for your time watching this series, and we cannot wait to have new video to entertain you as per your wish and purpose. Have a wonderful day. Help us by click like, comment, and share the video.